Hi, and welcome to Introduction to Digital Media, RTVF 25 online. This is our distance learning course for the Intro to Digital Media course, and it's going to be pretty fulfilling, I think, for you, and you're going to enjoy it. My name is Jamie Cohen. I'm your instructor, and over the next few weeks, you're going to learn about the digital and media environment, some content creation, some of the things that make digital media part of your life. The course includes a lot of reading, a lot of creation, a lot of discussions, and some quizzes. It's just a matter of trying to get you through it and making sure that you understand the content as we go through it. So after the end of the course, I know that you fully understand what we would kind of know in the IRL version of the course, but here you know it in the sense that you've got a good grasp on how the environment works and how you could become a part of it and how you could become a professional in the digital media world. So welcome and enjoy the course. First off, one of the first questions that comes to mind in Intro to Digital Media is, why is this an RTVF class? How did this end up in RTVF, and what is it doing as a course that you have to take in order to go through the TV program? The course, I guess, is interesting in the effect that what you're actually doing is learning a lot of the environment of digital media more than anything else. As we know now, almost all media that you could find is going to be some way or another in a digital form. So I'm going to go through a few introductory steps and how we got to the point of digital media and where we are now, and this way it'll give you a good grasp on what we are. So why is it in RTVF? The reason it's in RTVF is the history of web design and websites led us to the point where it's more similar to television than any other type of medium. Originally, websites were put under the designation of print. And in fact, if you've had print magazines in the early thousands, you would find website design. And that's because, for the most part, websites could be printed. They would be in a form of a sheet of paper or a design element, and you could actually wireframe it out. Today, websites are considered a digital media or a more like television because of their specs. And the specifications of a website are quite interesting. First off, most websites today are widescreen. They're built for a monitor, and they are built for an experience that you're going to have where you're watching something in some cases, the way that a flat screen TV works. Not only that, but it's 72 dpi. That's the same as television, 72 dots per inch. And on top of that, the color is not print. Print is CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And when you look at television, it's based on RGB, which is the exact same thing as this, red, green, and blue, the primary colors. And so a few times in this lecture, we're going to talk about some technical specs. But for the most part, you should know that the RGB in web design isn't as value as the way that it would be in television, which is electrical value, how much volts it has to make the color. In this case, it's actually called hexadecimal. Those 6-digit numbers that you're going to see quite often. It's a pound symbol and 6 digits. The first two stand for R, the second two stand for G, and the third are B. You know, that's basically how it works. So it's in the color space of red, green, and blue. That's why it's an RTVF-esque type of course. Additionally, we're at a point now where all media being digital media, you have to remember, when we simplify it down, all media is going to be shown on some screen or another. So it's really a course about screens and the environment of what a screen does for us. So you're watching this on a screen. Your work's going to be made on a screen. You look at screens all day long. Your television is, whether it be this box or whether it be this screen, but it's all screens that we consume media on. And what's important about that is that television no longer needs the device that it was there. It needs a screen. Television is probably the only mass medium that transcended the technology that was invented on. And if you think about that, think about print. Print was invented as soon as paper was basically put into circulation. So let's just go back and let's just say it was China in the 300s. They started creating paper media. And so print was at that point. Now mass print, we know, didn't really start until about the 15th century when Gutenberg created the Gutenberg press, which was just a way of creating movable type and making movable type print more often. So it wasn't really an invention per se, it was a way of expediting the process of print, thereby giving it to the masses. But if you were to take away a printer, whether it be a Xerox machine, a printer, whatever you have that creates paper, print on paper, print, it's gone. gone. There's no more print. But television was created on a CRT, a cathode ray tube. And in this box, it created electrons that shot at a screen and ignited phosphors, and it lit up, and television was invented. But television is also the content that it is as well. When we say television, we're talking about both the device and the content. And what's interesting about that is that not many other things, like we have film, which is the medium, and then you have cinema, in which it becomes. But television itself, the device has died. It's over. There are no more CRTs. Best Buy doesn't sell them. You can't get them. You can't service them. CRTs are moving away. So with the point of them being gone, shouldn't television have gone? No. At this point, we're probably in one of the highest golden ages of television in all of history. And yet the device is gone. And those are the things that we have to start thinking about, that this course sits inside of an RTVF area inside of the department, because it is content that we're going to be thinking about. So this is content we're creating for screens. Keep that in mind throughout this course, that screens are really our intention here. When we create content and we create whatever we're doing, it's for the consumption on a flat two-dimensional device. And that's something that we're going to have to consider a lot during what we call user experience, when somebody's interacting with the content you've created, whether it be a vlog, a web series, or a website. There's always a user experience. So the big three things that we're going to learn in this class, we're going to learn a lot about who you are online and your place in the digital environment, specifically how you brand yourself and what you are, and that includes vlogging. You're going to be making vlogs, and I think it's important for you to be making vlogs because a lot of who you are is how people know you, and since we're in a digital environment, most of us have the ability to express ourselves through social media. But to really know who you are, you really have to have a voice and a space online with your visibility. So you will be making vlogs during the class. You will also be making a website. You need to have a place to put all your stuff, and so you will be given a website subdomain on HTV Interactive, which I will populate with a WordPress, and you're going to learn how to use the WordPress, and you're going to learn how to tweak it a bit. I mean, during the semester-long class, you'll tweak it a bit more, but in this class, you're just going to create a space, theme your site, and populate it. It needs to have 3 pages. We'll explain that as we go along. And you're also going to be creating memes, and that's part of understanding the online audience. It's important to understand how the audience reads media online, and so it's not so much your creation of memes that's important, but understanding why they're made and what they do. And so that's part of the viral lecture, is understanding that at the core of all of our enjoyment of online quick information is mimetic. It comes from inside here. And so that's going to be a large portion of it. So it's all going to accumulate to something that we do as content creation. So that's all your projects in this class. And you will understand by the end the environment of online and why we look at certain viral videos and why we enjoy them. And most importantly, why the remix culture has become something of a never-ending cycle of new creativity, and how lucky we are and how much we should appreciate that. So let's get to it. Start reading some articles, start putting together some of your work, and don't forget to vlog. You need to really be creative on this. I put up resources on how to do jump cuts. You could use any editing software you'd like. You could even use YouTube Editor, and that's a pretty cool little device on YouTube where you upload a bunch of clips, and you could actually just add all the edits there. So be creative. The more creative you are, the better you're going to be graded on this project. Vlogging, I think, is one of the most important parts of this class because it's you becoming a personality online. Make sure you read the articles all the way through. Make sure you really understand them because they've been picked and curated just for this class. They're very important to how you understand the digital environment. So good luck and stay tuned for more of the updates.